Hi everyone, it's noon here in San Francisco, just a couple minutes after noon, and it's a hangout, a live hangout with Tisa Blackburn, Acrylic Diva. I'm a little flustered because the live stream seems to be a little wonky today, so I hope you can see and hear this. I'm checking my monitor and it doesn't look like things are happening, so I do have the chat box open. If you can't see the stream, please let me know. Okay. On that note, I'm going to jump right into today's topic, which is how to use the old masters or maybe a modern master to create artwork that inspires you. If you are inspired by one of the great painters like Rembrandt, Matisse, Vermeer, any one of the great painters, or just someone you love, I want to show you how to take a masterpiece and abstract from it and create something that really resonates for you and shows how much you love that particular artist. Now, I want to point out that this is something that was done a lot by uh, many artists. For instance, Picasso used to riff on Goya and Velázquez. All of the great artists would use other artists as source material and oftentimes do an entire series based on another artist. So, for instance, Picasso did a lot of linoleum block prints, and he used, I believe it was Van Eyck or one of the Dutch painters, a portrait that was done by one of the Dutch painters, and he did several different iterations of that particular painting as a linoleum block print. So I will search that out for you and put that in the show notes so you'll be able to find that. But I think it's a really important tool for us to have as artists. You know, you're really inspired by someone, so why not refer to them? Why not use their work, sort of pay homage to the master or the mistress, as the case may be, and be able to use that source material and really create something that inspires you. Okay, so let's go right to the iPad camera. I've got the iPad open here, and we're going to work inside ArtRage today just because it's a little easier than me trying to push around paint and everything live on camera for you when I'm trying to use someone else's information. It's really easy to do this inside ArtRage on my iPad. So here we go. Let's take a look at this piece by Matisse, and you will notice that I've got it in a horizontal format, and the reason for that is that we've got the horizontal format is easier to work inside the video. So we're going to do that and work inside this horizontal format. I'm going to minimize my windows so I can see everything that's going on, and I just really don't know what's going on with the live feed, but rest assured it's there somewhere. We're there somewhere. All right. So we're inside iPad, and you can see down here in the corners, I've got my little tools all ready to go. I've imported the image of painted by Matisse called Etruscan Vase. Beautiful image. And so, say for instance, you're really inspired by this piece by Matisse, but you don't necessarily want to do a complete recapture of this. You don't want to do a complete copy of this, even though it's beautiful. You know, maybe you want to just take parts of it and use it as inspiration for your own new piece. So I'm going to show you how to do that. First of all, let's put this on the bottom layer, and I want to move this up above. Bear with me, guys. I always have a hard time making this work. My fingers don't seem to like, the iPad doesn't seem to like my fingers, but we'll just leave it like that. Okay, I'm on top of that. All right. Now I'm going to take the Matisse piece and I'm going to expand it. And I'm just going to crop into some interesting areas. Let's see, how about that? So I've got a portion of the vase I've got some of the lemons and apples that are on the page there. And I have kind of dead center, I have that other water pitcher. So I'm not crazy about that. Let's move this out again, come into something a little more abstract. Okay, there we go. I like that a little better. That leaves us a less recognizable image on the table there. We've got a bit of that water pitcher, but it's not as recognizable. So do you see how I can take this image by Matisse and crop out all of the elements, crop into different areas of the painting, and then create my own painting based on that? Now, if you fall in love with a piece, like I'm crazy about the painting Rembrandt's Night Watch, and I'll put it up on the screen for you so you can see what I'm talking about. But it is a very complex piece, and what if I wanted to create a painting based on this painting? Well, doggone, that would be a rather big undertaking because it's a very complex piece. So let me just, I'm going to pull it up here for a sec. Just give me a quick second here to get it on the screen for you, and I'll show you what I mean. Let's just add that right here, and I'll pull up Rembrandt for you, and you can see what I mean. You can see what I mean when I'm talking about a complex piece here. I'm going to load Rembrandt here, and give me 1 second, and we'll have that up for you. Okay, I think you can see that piece by Rembrandt. That is The Night Watch, very famous piece of his. And let me just turn my volume up there a little bit. Okay. Very famous piece by Rembrandt. Now, if I wanted to take this piece and abstract from it, I could do the very same thing that I'm doing with the Matisse piece, the Etruscan vase. I could pull it into my iPad, or I could take it into the studio with me and use portions of it and create a wonderful painting based on the Rembrandt piece. So let's go back to the iPad here, and we have the portion of our Matisse painting on the iPad. Let me just make sure I'm on the right layer. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to just take my pen and change the color here to, I'm just going to change it to a black so we can use a pen outline. And I'm just going to first make sure I'm on the right layer and just give myself some outlines here. Let me make it large enough. Let's just make sure it's doing its thing. Take the, yeah, okay. So I'm outlining with the pen, and you're not seeing it on the screen because it's going to the layer below. But trust me, I'm just outlining with the pen with this kind of big clunky black pen. I'm just outlining these shapes, big shapes here. And in a minute, you'll see what I mean about using this as source material. It'll make sense, I promise. It doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense right now, but it will. Okay, so I'm going to take the Matisse piece away, and now what you see, let's take those layers away. Now what you see is the outline of what I have drawn with my pen on the iPad. I've just traced those big shapes, and the pen that I used in the iPad in Art Rage was a big thick pen. So I have big thick lines. Now this bears no resemblance whatsoever to the Matisse painting, does it? Not a bit, right? That's kind of a cool thing, because now I've got all of this information that I can use to create an abstract painting based on the Matisse piece, and only I will know what the source material was, and only I will know how inspired I was by that piece. So do you see how this could be very powerful? So let's put a new layer down. I'm going to add a layer, and I'm completely now, the Matisse piece is completely gone. So now I've got a new layer on top, and I'm going to change to a paintbrush. We'll put some color in there. I'm picking up the orange color that was in the, let's go back and look at that once again. That was in the Etruscan vase. So that orange and the orange of the apples or the oranges that are on the table. I'm going to pick up that orange color, and I can take my paintbrush. Let's see how big my paintbrush is. That's fine. I'm going to take my paintbrush and just come in here and, whoops, let's make it a little bit bigger. And I can just come in here and I can use my paintbrush with that orange color. Now I'm on the layer above the pin lines, so I can paint over it and it's not going to smear the lines or anything like that. I can make these orange, these little elements that I picked up from the painting itself. Now let's go back and look at that Matisse again, and you can see there's kind of a lovely sort of celadon green there in the table, and I'm going to pick up that color. So if I've got my paint picker and get my color here, whoops, sorry guys, let's see, something along these lines right here, kind of muted. Let's go over there, a little grayer right there. That's good. Okay, I'll take my Matisse away again. And the reason I'm taking the Matisse painting away and not looking at it while I'm painting is because I don't want to be influenced other than the painting that I've got going. I don't want to be influenced any further by that Matisse painting. So I'm working with just the reference of that in my mind, but I'm not, I don't know what that is and why it's there. Let me take it away. But I'm not going to try to recreate that. So I hope that makes sense. So now I'm just kind of pulling in that celadon green that was there. I'm just going to pull that in a little bit. And this is one of the things I love Art Rage for, this kind of work, because you can really brainstorm. It's like having a really cool notepad with you, and you can just really kind of do some very cool brainstorming type stuff. And then you can take this and take it out to the canvas, or print it out, paint on top of it, all kinds of cool stuff you can do. All right, let's go back to the Matisse one more quick time. Now I'm going to pick up some of this sort of cerulean blue that's over here in the lower left, and I'm going to, while I have that image on my screen, I'm going to go back over to the blue, kind of go, it's a little greener than that. It's like green like that, and it's a little grayer. Let's see, that's pretty good right there. Okay, now I'll make my Matisse image disappear again, and I'll come back over here, change the size of my brush, make my brush a little smaller. And of course in Art Rage, and maybe at some point we'll do some training in Art Rage as well, you've got a lot of different tools to use. Right now all I'm using is the paintbrush, and you've got tons of stuff to use. So this is just a brief overview. So I'm going to pull some of that blue in, that lovely celadon blue. Give that a little bit here, maybe a little bit between these, the fruit shapes up here, because that's a nice kind of complementary color. Okay, so I'm just riffing here on Matisse, and I'm going to come back here to the screen. I'm going to also check and see if we've got anybody in the chat room that needs help, let me jump over there real quick. I've got two chat rooms open, so bear with me if you guys. Okay, there's Frida, Asha. All right. I see Joe Coho. Hi, everyone. I'm glad to see you all, and I'm going to pop over here to the camera. Hi, everybody. I hope you had a chance to get in there and see the Art Rage copy of the Matisse that I was working on. I do like to use Art Rage as a way to, brainstorm. And if you have any questions about that or anything, let me know. At some point, I am going to put together an online workshop for Art Rage so that you can get in there and learn how to do it. It's on my list of things to do. Ay, 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 the list just keeps getting longer. I need to be about 4 people, really. So let me get into the chat box. How is every Frida? You got your picture there? Good, good, good. Asha, welcome. Welcome from Kent, Washington to Asha Nelson. Good to see you there. Everybody, it looks okay and you can all hear. Give me a thumbs up, everyone, if you can see and hear okay. Asha, you have Art Rage on your iPad and you haven't used it? You got to use it, girl. It's awesome. You're going to love it. It's not, is it a free app? Can I remember that, you guys? I want to say, Frida, I want to say it's maybe $6.99. It's been a while since I purchased it. And the Art Rage people were really nice a while back and invited me to come down to Palo Alto and demonstrate the app for them because they were doing a conference and stuff like that. So I went down there and painted for them for a day. It was really cool. They're lovely people, and it's my favorite iPad app in terms of painting. I love it. So not terribly expensive, but immensely useful. Very, very useful. So do you guys understand what I'm doing here when I'm talking about taking the modern master, or taking an old master for that matter, and really getting in there and using them as source material? I think this is powerful stuff, you guys. I really do. Because oftentimes, we sort of clamber around and oh, thanks, Joe Coho. Thank you for letting me know you can see. That's good. Can see and hear. Oftentimes we will get into our studios or we're working and we feel like we're running out of ideas. It's like, oh golly, I don't know what to do today. And if you stop and think about these artists over the years that have used other artists as source material, the list is very long. And so you're in really good company when you do that. Okay? Don't try and reinvent the wheel for yourself. It's just going to be frustrating. All right? Now, I'm going to go back to the app. I'm going to go back to the iPad screen here. Here's my funny little Matisse sketch. Now, I could take this and go up to Canvas with it. I could print this piece out and work on top of it. And, you can get really nice, high quality giclée prints made these days, and they don't cost a ton of money. And then you can come back on top of this with acrylic paint, do some very cool things. Now let me go back over here to this screen on the iPad, and I'm going to not save this. I'm going to actually hide this layer. Let's hide that layer and hide that layer, and let's come back to Matisse. Now, one painting can provide you with many, many paintings to work from. So, say for instance, you've already done one of these, why not do a couple more? Matisse, I've got to tell you, Matisse is the man. If you can steal from Matisse, why not? This guy had it going on. He had major game, you guys. So take a look at this. All right, now I am going to move this over a little bit, and I'm going to just use that as my source material. Let's get a new layer, and whoops, hold on a second. I want this layer to go ahead of this. I don't know why my Art Rage and it just does not want to move for me there. My fingers are too fat, I guess. All right, now I'm on top of this Matisse layer. The where you see the green window there, where that's highlighted, that means that's the layer that I'm working on, and I'm still looking at the Matisse layer below it. So now I'm going to come back to my pencil or my pen, and let's make it a little smaller. And it's blue, that's fine. Well, no, you know what? I'm going to make it black. Let's make it black. Now I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to grab a few lines from Matisse because, you know, golly, why not? Everybody under the sun has done this, and I think it's a really great idea. So let's take a look at what I've got, okay? Take the Matisse away, and I've got that. Put the Matisse back. And, excuse me, I'm going to just get this great shape of her hair. Just the hair, nothing else. And then I'm going to grab some of these shapes of these plants. Just a couple. I don't need many. Okay, and then this coming in here. Oops, my pen got really big. We don't need it that big. Okay. All right, couple of those, and we're done. All right, let's take the Matisse painting away. Look what I've got. That's like a cool abstract painting already, right? Now, I could do a whole bunch of cool stuff with this and go on and on, but I think you guys get the idea, don't you? Let me put one quick layer on top of this and do a little bit of painting. Let's look at that Matisse painting again. What colors should we come up with for this? We've got some yellow, some orange, and some of that kind of wonderful blue-green of the leaves. So I'm going to go back to my color wheel here, grab some yellow, bring it in. I've got to get my paintbrush right here. Put some yellow in here. Now the nice thing about Art Rage, I'm going to get a little bit of orange, hold on. The nice thing about Art Rage is I can use that underdrawing, and then I can make it go away so that all I have left are the color without lines. That can be really useful. I get a little blue here, and I want a little bit greener blue for those leafy things, we're calling them, whatever they are. I think they were some sort of plant. Now, say for instance, you've got this going on here, and you're thinking, well, you know, the lines are just really distracting. So take them out. I'm going to get the blue again. Give me one quick second here. I want to throw some blue over here. All right, I'll come back to my line, take that away, and then all I've got left are the shapes of color. Now, the reason that that is important to take a look at is that A, it will help you with your composition, and B, it will also tell you where you need some contrast. So you can see that all the colors and the shapes are about the same value. Yeah, there's no dark, there's no light. We've got a lot of white space and that type of thing. So I could come back here and let's get something that'll really fill up the space. Let's get the paint bucket. And let's just fill up the space with blue. So see how I've got that whole blue. Let's make it a little more opaque. There we go. Let's do that again. There we go. So now I've got an entire area filled up with blue. Now I can come back and let's add that line back in and see how that looks. Get the line above. There we go. Now we're kind of cooking. Things are kind of looking good, right? We can keep going with that. But really, all I'm doing is using what Matisse has already given me. I'm going to come back in with the black line, and I'm going to make sure it's not too big, first of all, and just fill in some areas using the black, this funny little shape of Madame Matisse's hair. That totally cracks me up. You know, I know what it is, and you guys know what it is, but no one else would know. If they're just looking at that, that could be a doily, that could be the edge of a coffee cup, that could be anything. So, you see how powerful this is? This is some pretty good stuff. All right, I hope that is helpful. I hope you get the idea there. Let me come back over here to the screen and talk to you guys. So, I could sit here and riff on Matisse all day long, and sometimes I do. And so that's my little iPad demonstration for today. There you go, right? Very powerful little tool. The iPad, I've got to tell you, there's nothing like having something that you can generate a lot of imagery with. It's like having the best sketchbook in the world. And I hear from people all the time, oh, drawing on the iPad, that's not real drawing and stuff like that. Wrong. Totally wrong. Drawing on anything, iPad, chalkboard, sidewalk, the back of an envelope, I don't care what you draw on. Drawing on anything is drawing. It's all about what you see and putting it down. And so using these modern masters, using the old masters, everybody from Rembrandt to, Jean-Michel Basquiat, all the way, the whole entire spectrum. It's all yours. You can use all of it as source material. There's a very famous quote by, I want to say it was by the philosopher Sartre. I could be wrong. But the quote goes, "We stand on the shoulders of giants." And what that means is that those people that have gone before us have done a bunch of hard work. And so we get to take advantage of that and use that. And it's an honorable thing to do. Okay? So don't let anyone tell you that you're cheating or you shouldn't be doing it or it's a bad thing or anything like that. No, no, no. It's an honorable thing to pay homage to your artist ancestors. Okay? All right, let me see if I've got anybody over here. Hey, you guys, I see you over there. Frida wants to know if I'm drawing with a stylus, and indeed I am. Here's my Apple pencil that goes with my iPad, and I sometimes use that, and I sometimes use my finger, either or both, or sometimes at the same time. And I've also been known, I just did this in class yesterday, and oh my gosh, it's kind of embarrassing and silly, but every once in a while when I am working on the iPad in front of a class, I'll be doing something and I'll be going like that, and then I'll go to get another color and I'll wipe my finger off on a paper towel. Like, there's no paint on your finger, Tisa. But it feels so real to me that I often do that. I just did that yesterday in class and I got called on it. They were cracking up. So, yeah, I use the stylus all the time. I love the stylus. And I write a lot of notes with the stylus as well. I'm going to get back over here. Was that Newton, Joe Coho? Isaac Newton said that? Oh, good. Thank you. I'm glad someone knows. And by the way, Joe Coho, how are you doing down there? That big Mariposa fire? Hope you guys are okay. Hope you're okay. All right. Um, okay. Frida says, I like that you can borrow color combinations that work. Yeah. I mean, Matisse was a color genius. You know, he thought he breathed, lived, ate, drank color. So, yeah, he knew, I talk about him like he's in the next room, right? He knew color really well. And that's the great thing about these masters that go before us. They have solved problems that we come across, and they've solved these problems for us, and they give us the answer, and they say, okay, here's the answer. Now go do something fabulous with it. Okay? I think that's great. Joe, you guys are okay? I'm glad to hear that. That was kind of scary. There was a big wildfire down near Yosemite, and I know Joe's down there. So you guys take care out there. All right. Any more questions? Asha, if you have questions, let me know. And you know what? I'm going to pop over to the Facebook chat box real quick. And let me let me mute it because I'm hearing myself in echo. It's so silly. Simcha, hi. How are you? Um, is it okay to copy recent artists, and can the copy be displayed publicly? Simcha's asking me that. She's in the Facebook group. Um, so here's the deal. Copying someone line for line is not okay. So if you're copying something that is really recognizable by the artist, then you're probably infringing on that artist's copyright. Now, if you're riffing on that artist and you're using it, excuse me, you're using it as source material, like what I just did with Matisse, that is totally not recognizable as pertaining to Matisse. So the spectrum is very wide, very, very wide. And as you all may remember, a few years ago, Shepard Fairey, the artist, got into copyright issues when he did the poster of President Obama. Let me pull that up for you so you can see, because this is a really good topic. Let me see if I can get it quick enough here. I think I've got it right here. It should pop up pretty easily because it's a really recognizable image. And Shepard Fairey took a photograph from a newspaper. I believe it was a newspaper. Hang on a sec. Let me pull it up. He took this image, and he used it. He made a literal translation of it. Let me hang on a sec, guys. I can't talk and type at the same time. It's just beyond me. All right, let me see if I can pull this in so you can see it. Badoo badoo. Should be able to get it right here. Okay. Alrighty. So here is the Shepard Fairey piece. Very famous piece. This was done, hang on a quick second. Let me turn up my volume because I'm on the wrong headset thingy. Okay. This Shepard Fairey piece was done when Obama was running for president, and amazing poster, and we all love it, and it's terrific. The only problem is he pulled this image hook, line, and sinker from a photograph that was used in the newspaper on the API wire service. It was a really well-known photograph. He didn't even flip the photograph. If he had just flipped the photograph, changed it slightly, things would have been a little different. But he didn't. And so he got into hot water over copyright infringement. And in fact, in my humble opinion, I think that was legitimate because it seemed to me to be a little lazy on Shepard Fairey's part not to even manipulate the image a little bit. I mean, come on. So, you're just not doing your job there. So in that respect, Simcha, I think that when you are talking about using someone else's material as source material, really pay attention to how you're using it and how far you're taking it and how you're manipulating it, because what you're supposed to be doing with this idea is using it as inspiration, not to make a blatant copy of it. Okay, so I hope that helps. Does that help? Hey Mitch, how are you? How are you? I'm glad to see you over there. All right, so that's a little bit about using artists as source material. There's my crazy Matisse piece. That bears no resemblance whatsoever. I mean, check it out. Does it look anything like that? Let's see. Let me go back. Does it look anything like that Matisse piece? Heck no. I'm not going to get in trouble. And the other cool thing about this is there are about 50 paintings in this painting that I could use. I mean, doggone, this is, and that's why Matisse is so great because he's so complicated and yet he's so simple. So take a look at this. I'm on the right layer. Okay, good. So say I take that right there. I can do a painting based on that. I can do a painting based on that. I could do a painting based on that, and on and on and on. I mean, how many paintings can you do from one Matisse painting? A lot, right? Okay, who do we have here? Let's see. I'm going to see if I've got, I just want to reload the chat. Give me a quick sec, you guys. I've got about 14 windows open and I'm trying to manage all of them. And it's, just me. I'm a one-woman show, one-woman road show here. All right. Inside the chat box, we've got Mitch said something. I saw it. Just a minute. Oh, you love the idea of using another artist? I think it's a pretty cool idea myself. I mean, I wish I had come up with it all on my own. I wish I could say it was all my genius at work here, but it's not. You guys know I'm using this really cool information that I have used in my own work for many years. Simcha says, I didn't manipulate. I did make some minor changes though. Yeah, I don't know. Minor changes, if you're going to if you're going to exhibit something or you're going to claim something as your own, minor changes may not do it. You may need to do something major. So a few years ago, I had a discussion with a copyright lawyer about this very issue. And the one thing that he told me was that if the original artist can recognize their work in your work, then you're infringing on their copyright. And there you go. So how important is this? Well, you never know. You never know how important it is because you may do something now that 10 years from now gets widely distributed, goes all over the internet, and all of a sudden you're in hot water with someone because you're infringing on their copyright. So my advice is to use source material as inspiration. And if you're going to publicly display it or sell it. Now, what you do for yourself, if you're just doing this as an exercise for yourself, by all means, copy line for line. That's how we learn. But that's student work, okay? When you're taking, like when I was in college, oy vey, when I was in college, I had to copy high Renaissance paintings. I had to learn how to paint just exactly the way the Renaissance painters did, line for line, stroke for stroke. I had to do that to copy those paintings. That's how I created and developed my painting chops. Now, would I go back and do that now? No, not at all. Not at all, because it's not valid for me to do that as a professional artist. As a student, absolutely. If you're learning, absolutely. And I often tell my students to go and take a piece that they love and reverse engineer it. So say you absolutely love this piece by Matisse. Let's go back and look at it. Say you absolutely love this piece by Matisse. Go back into it and reverse engineer it. Figure out the composition, why he did what he did, the colors he used, and all that. Paint it line for line, stroke for stroke. But don't put it out for public display and don't try to sell it because that's not cool. That's definitely copyright infringement. Okay? All right. It looks like I've got a couple of questions over here. Let me go check and see. Frida says, hang on a second, my window just decided to go tiny on me and now I can't see. Boy, I'll tell you, my windows are not cooperating today, you guys. Okay. Asha. Asha, you said you enjoyed it. Good. No questions. Great. I'm glad you like the idea of getting color combinations. Good. Now don't go away because we're going to give paint away. I'm going to give paint away. Joe Coho, Newton in 1675. Awesome. Joe, you're the man. I love that. I love that you knew that quote. That makes me happy. I love it. Yeah. And it's a great quote, isn't it? If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. Awesome. Frida says, I've never done an abstract painting and don't know how to start one. You're used to doing realistic paintings from a photograph. Now you have some structure to work with. Great! I'm glad you like the idea. It's very important to have some inspiration, right? And abstract paintings aren't always easy to get started on. This will give you some stuff to work from. And you know what's also very cool about this? So say for instance you've got a photograph of your kids' tennis shoes that you love, and you just don't feel up to the task of doing a realistic painting of those tennis shoes. Why not crop in on a portion of that? Get the colors, get some interesting abstract shapes, whatever the case may be. You can do a painting based on something you really love, and yet you don't have to try to do a realistic rendering of it. Okay? I hope that helps. That's also a chapter in my book. Where's my book? You know, you guys, I'm the worst at these at commercial salesmen. I'm the worst commercial salesman in the world. Here's the book. You guys know about my book. Just go to Amazon and put my name in there and it'll come up. But this idea of abstracting from the modern masters or using a photograph or something like that, it's a chapter in the book. Really is helpful to be able to do that. Okay? All right. What else? Any more questions or comments? Let me jump back over to Facebook. I'm swapping between windows. Mitch says good tips on copyright infringements. Thank you, Mitch. Keeping me on my toes over there in maybe in Vallejo. You're in Vallejo today, aren't you? All right. It's time for me to give away paint. And so with that in mind, everyone that's listening, both in the Facebook group and the YouTube group, you guys get to guess a number between 1 and 10. 1 and 10. And I'm going to write it on a piece of paper. And then you're going to guess. And I'm going to give some paint away. How about that? All right. So the number, I'm writing the number down. Got that done. In the meantime, I'll give you a few minutes to get your guesses in there because there's a little bit of lag between when I say something and when you get it back to me. So, you know, we're not exactly going at the speed of light over here. All right. In the meantime, what's coming up? Well, coming in August, I want you all to pay attention to your email. Make sure you're on my email list. If you're not already, get on it because I'm going to be doing a special online workshop coming up in August. And there are going to be some cool, interesting things in there. So no matter where you are in the world, you're going to be able to participate. And it's going to be live, coming to you from San Francisco. Simcha wants to know how many times you can win. You mean in one day, or do you mean over the course of months? And if you've won before, it doesn't matter. You can win again. I don't care. You know, just Just make a guess. I don't care if you guys win more than one time, except you can't win more than one time in the same day, right? Okay, so that's the scoop on that. You guys can all guess. Everybody can guess, and I will send out some free paint. Let's see if we've got any guesses over in the YouTube window. I am trying to. Oh man, you guys! I don't know if it's me, the internet, or what it is, but I'm being challenged over here with technology. Actually, when you think about it, it's kind of extraordinary that we can even communicate, you know? All right. I've got Asha says 7, Frida 3, Coho 2, Pita 5. All right. I've got those in the YouTube. And what have I got in the Facebook? Are you guys guessing over there? I don't see any guesses in the Facebook. Let me refresh it and make sure. Make sure. Oh, and you know what? I always forget to say this. I have to say this, and I keep forgetting to say it. You have to be in the United States for me to send you paint unless you have a United States address, because there's customs and all kinds of things that go on when I send paint outside the United States. So unfortunately, you have to be in the States to guess to get the free gift. I'm sorry about that, but that has something to do with the U.S. Postal Service, and I'm not messing with those guys. Okay, I'm not messing with them. All right. Couple more minutes here. I've got some guessing in the YouTube window. Do I have guessing? Okay, let me write these down. Mitch says 8, and because I'm swapping between windows, Asha, you say 7, Frida says 3, and Joe Coho says 2, and Pita says 5. You guys are making it tough on me today, all right? The number is 4. Let me get over here so you can actually see me. The number is 4. So I've got a 3 and I've got a 5. And you guys are both on either side of it. So guess what? You both win. All right. So Pita, I want you to email me your U.S. address. Make sure you send me an email, and I'm going to put the email address that you send it to right here. Send me an email to Tisa. Why isn't it coming up? Hold on a sec. I'm trying to type and it won't type. All right, let's do it the old-fashioned way. There's more than one way to skin a cat. So what I want you to do is send an email to, I'll make it nice and clear for you. And you know, if you are in either there's, look at, am I old school or what, you guys? Isn't that hilarious? I can't get the chat box to work. Here's my new chat box. All right, Pita and Frida, both of you guys need to send me your mailing address, and it has to be a United States mailing address, okay? Thanks, guys. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. That is a little bit about how to use the old masters, or modern masters for that matter, to create really good paintings, to be inspired, and to, as Newton said, stand on the shoulders of giants, okay? All right, any more questions for me before I sign off? I'm just looking over here, having a little trouble with the technology today. Simcha said 4, you're not seeing it. Oh, yeah, I got it. I got you, Simcha, I think. Oh, no, I didn't see it. Oh, shoot. Oh, darn. All right, well, that's 3 that go out. So, Simcha, you're going to get one, too. We had a lag there, didn't we? All right, you send me your mailing address, and make sure that when you do send me your mailing address, you go to my email. Send it to, where's my chat box? Send it to Tisa at acrylicdiva.com and I'll send. So I'm sending out 3 goodie bags: Simcha, Pita, and Frida. Okay? So, hey, everybody can win. All right. Anyway, if you have any questions, you need me during the week, you know where I am. You can jump over into Facebook. You can send me an email. I'm flying around the universe. Be sure you're on the email list because I've got some cool stuff coming up in August, and you got to be on the list, okay, or you won't get an invitation. All right. Let's see how we're doing over here in YouTube. Everything looks pretty good. I'm going to sign off, and I've got a little bit of sunshine out there, so I'm going to take my little dog for a walk and then get back to work. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the week, and if you're in the Thursday night class, I will see you tomorrow night. If you're not in the Thursday night class, get over there. It's on my other YouTube channel, Creative Flow. There will be a link to it in the bottom of this show notes. You'll see the link and you can get over there, hang out with us on Thursday night and paint for about an hour and listen to some cool music. Okay? All right, everybody. I'm going to sign off. Have a wonderful afternoon. And what do I always say? Keep painting. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.